Hey, how's it going? I'm David Barbarossa. This is my portion of Pop Mutations, a semi-chronological and semi-geographical trip around some of my favourite Glasgow record shops, past and present. One of the first record shops I was aware of in Glasgow was missing. I remember seeing the bags around the town before I ever went into it. Um, Shopped there for years. I bought all sorts in all of the locations. This was one of my more recent pickups. Even that's got to be good few years ago now. It's Sheena Williams and his African percussionists. It kind of reminds me of one of the reasons to go record shopping. Like, you can buy stuff online, and that's great, and all record shops are going to need us to buy things from online to keep them open at the moment. But little funny, happy accidents are not going to happen if you buy everything online. You look on Discogs, you work out the average price, you work out if you're willing to pay it, then you decide to pay it. However, if your pal who constantly beat you to all the exciting records in Glasgow before has just moved to Amsterdam and so has not hoovered up everything before you get there, and you choose to have a wander on a rainy morning, then you can get to missing and you can find this in the new in bin for £3. These are like the sort of happy things that don't happen if you just buy stuff online. But as I say, I'm not against buying stuff online. Buy records wherever records are sold. But yeah, this is killer percussive African disco. Both sides are great. And there will be a little mix that goes alongside this. You'll be able to hear both sides on there. They'll both have the records I'm going to talk about for the next 10 minutes and a fair few of my other Glasgow scores. Yeah, just a killer record. Next up, a formative record buying experience in that was Right Track Records. A guy called Peter, who, when I first met him, he was in Virginia Galleries, although once it sunk into the ground, he was on Dumbarton Road for a while. He was in Defunct, where I also worked on Great Western Road. He ended up in the Savoy Centre. I don't think he's selling records anymore. I have seen him recently, but I think he's out of the game now. But yeah, I first discovered Peter when I was just getting into soul and reggae, and those were his specialities. And when I first went in, it's just boxes and boxes of 7 inches, mainly new and reissue stuff. And on the wall, there was slightly more expensive things. And I was too shy to ask to listen to every single record in the shop, but over time, he got to know what I like, and I got to know what I like as well. And one of the things, like, I always knew I loved soul music, but what I really love is female vocal soul music. So I'm glad he persuaded me away from the £3 new funk, new sevens, and onto the slightly more expensive, might even be a fiver. I'm thinking, I could get two new ones for that. Fiver, tenner, goes up from there. So he must have got to know me really well, because he managed to coax me into buying this one, I Can't Move No Mountains, by Shirley Brown. It's from 1978, and I was pretty much of the opinion that anything after 1971, as far as soul was concerned, was absolutely appalling. Obviously, I'm not of that opinion anymore. And this record is possibly one of the reasons why. Just killer, up-tempo, soulful disco. He also coaxed me into buying Love Don't You Go Through No Changes on Me by Sister Sledge, when at that point I think I only knew Sister Sledge for We Are Family and maybe Thinking of You, which I admit are still amazing songs, but this is just an absolute killer. And Denise LaSalle's A Love Reputation. Denise LaSalle, I think I knew from Don't Mess With My Toot Toot in the 80s, but this is just amazing, late 60s. So yeah, this is like why not buying all your records online at least is great. You get to know the folk in the shop, they get to know you, and you end up with the good stuff. Jumping forward somewhat, because that's going back nearly 20 years, is another lucky, happy accident. Talking Drums Courage, purchased in Play It Again, just off Barrows Road. Says on the sticker, scarce local 80s 12, 150. This one sent me down a total rabbit hole. If you read the back, like, produced at Black Gold Studios, Glasgow. And I was like, right, okay, this is from Glasgow, so somebody must know these people. And I kept going on about it, listen. After a while, I was talking about it on the radio, and Charlie and Irvin's daughter heard it and ended up being in touch with them. Had a few amazing meetings. I was really hopeful of being able to reissue this one. However, time and money were not on my side. However, if you listen to it in the mix and you enjoy it, you can pick it up on Dark Entries. It has been reissued since. It's just like, I've spoken to Charlie about it, and he doesn't exactly know why it sounds like that. It's just up-tempo, sort of African-influenced pop music. It's an absolutely phenomenal record. Slight geographical sidestep now. Not quite in Glasgow. These two are from a day trip to Stirling. With the pal that I mentioned that had moved to Amsterdam, but before he moved to Amsterdam, me and some other pals took a trip through to go to Europa. It's a nice trip. Take a train through, get yourself a Cornish pasty on the main street. I was there to DJ recently, and I'm not sure that Cornish pasty place is still there. Anyway, get yourself a Cornish pasty or other snack. Then go to Oxfam, where you can dig through and you may find some nice Irish electronic pop for 99p. I seem to remember everybody else being quite annoyed at me for finding that one. The 12 inch is kind of where it's at, but I always end up playing the 7 because it's got that nice connection of remembering that I found it for 99p when I was with my pals. Both nice to remember your pals and also nice to get one up on them. And then we got to Europa and we had a big rake through the massive it's a shed out the back where it's just sort of vaguely themed 12s and LPs. But it's worth a rake. Like, I used to go pretty regularly. There seemed to be, I don't know, lots of DJs in Stirling had given up their collections, but it was always seemed worth it to me. Yeah, this one was actually not in the back super cheap selection, but in the rare bit through the front. It's John Carpenter's Julie's Dead on one side from Assault Precinct 13, and then You Can't Fight It, which is another version of the theme from Assault Precinct 13, but with vocals by Jimmy Chambers. Jimmy Chambers is a black British vocalist. He was in London Beat, and before that he was in Central Line, I think. But and horn arrangements over the top of John Carpenter's sort of mad lo-fi drum machine stuff. There's brass from Kenny Lynch, who I kind of knew from like 80s light entertainment, but this is just an absolutely killer, weird British soul single, and one again I wouldn't have found it online. I didn't know it. I just noticed. I think again the sticker said something like Rare John Carpenter, and I don't think I even listened to it. But yeah, this is so good. Kenny Lynch production. Jimmy Chambers, You Can't Fight It. Pie Records. Release date 14th of the 4th, 1978. I like when they put these little extra bits in. Yeah, anyway, so that's Europa and that's Stirling. Treat yourself when we're allowed to go back out again. Take a day trip. Next up, Monorail. I don't imagine anybody that's watching this needs me to tell you much about Monorail, but just in case, it's a record shop which is inside a pub. I mean, that's pretty much heaven. Mainly go there for new stuff and just to chat to the charming staff. But I picked this one up a few years ago now. Robert Wyatt doing Ivor Cutler's Grass. That was the reason I bought it at the time. But at the moment, Deshari's Trade Union, which I think Robert Wyatt also does a version of, seems prescient. I'll just read out a bit from it, which is in the handy insert. If we want to defeat the racists, if we want to draw the teeth of those who suck our blood and exploit us, we must stand together under the trade union banner. So yeah, it's an amazing record anyway, but it just seems rather fitting at the moment. So go record shopping and join a trade union. I think that's what you need to. If that's all that you take from this video, then I'll be more than happy. And go to my mail. Next up, a bit closer to home, on the south side, record shopping not in record shops. Before I moved to Glasgow, actually, my friend Craig Rees took me to, well, I went to visit him. He lived just off Alison Street in Govan Hill, where I also lived for quite a while. He took me, went for coffee, and then we went to a local electrical shop, which had light bulbs and batteries and radio parts, and one bay of records, which was almost entirely Bollywood LPs, mainly sort of mid to late 80s stuff. I didn't know a huge amount about Bollywood. I think I had one Bollywood funk compilation at the time, so I knew a few names, but I didn't recognise any of these. Craig's suggestion was look for the ones with guns on the front. They've usually got the best tunes on them. So I bought a few LPs and they were not very good. But behind the counter they also had 7-inch racks, as I have here. And those had just loads of 7s side on. I don't know if they'd maybe had DJ equipment or stuff in the past, but it was mainly sort of disco pop 7s that had never been played, but also a few Bollywood EPs. So, as I say, I knew nothing about Bollywood, but I did know the name Asha Bhosle. So Asha Bhosle is on both of these. So out of probably the dozen or so Bollywood things that I bought, these are the two that have survived many culls because they're absolutely killer. Commander and Shan. It is actually the Asha Bhosle track on both of these that is the jam. So yeah, buy records wherever records are sold. It doesn't have to be a record shop. I don't think I lived in Govan Hill for about 7 years. I don't think that shop's there anymore, or at least it doesn't sell any records. Finally, also closer to home, just on Pollokshaws Road, is Other Side Records. Alia that runs that it's a really nice shop, just like, I think, what's it, curios, we would call it. Curios and second-hand records and books. And one of the last times I was in there, I picked up this one. It's not rare, it's not obscure. It's Parliament's Deep and Flashlight. I've always wanted the blue vinyl version of it because I think previously I just had a boring old blue one. And also, you can't really resist George Clinton in hairy chaps riding a dolphin. I mean, it's amazing, clearly. Yeah, so anyway, I could talk about this for about another 3 hours. I had to cut out about 20 records just to fit in this chat, but they will all be in the mix, as I say, which you can check out elsewhere on the website. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of Pop Mutations. I have been David Barbarossa. I look forward to seeing you in a record shop or maybe even while DJing soon. Cheers.